Well, hello everybody. I was working on the brakes on my 98 K1500 4x4, losing my brake pedal height, so I figured it was just a rear adjustment. These have self-adjusters on them, but they don't do a very good job. So this particular truck, you can't just get in from the back with the brake spoon. You have to pull the drum off and make your adjustments from the front side. When I got in here, my wheel cylinders were leaking, which I'd changed out about 5 years ago. So they only had a 1-year warranty, but the manager at the store was gracious enough, since I spent a lot of money in there, to go ahead and warranty them out for me. Well, lo and behold, these are leaking. Don't know if you can see the cup there, but they're definitely leaking right out of the box. Now, you can introduce this problem on your own when you put them in. When you get new wheel cylinders, don't play with them and squeeze the cups and stuff like that. The way I typically install them is I'll put them on first without the shoes or anything touching them, not playing with the cups, and I'll do an initial gravity bleed to get the majority of the air out. Then I will install my shoes, do my initial adjustment on both sides, pump the brake pedal to center the pads, and then do my final adjustment and final bleeding. These right out of the gate, like I said, are leaking, so rather than go back down and try to get another set that are possibly leaking, I'm going to diagnose them, take them apart, maybe rehome them, and see if I can get them to quit doing that. It's a bummer you go this far and then you've got to tear things apart that are brand new. It's getting frustrating these days trying to get good parts. I'm sure a lot of you guys can agree with that. So let's get underway here. Alright, well, I've got it up on the bench here. This is the actual side that was leaking, so that's where I'm going to focus most of my attention. They're actually pretty simple in the way they are made and how they come apart. So I'll just get this boot pulled off, and there's one of the pistons right here coming out. Definitely leaking there. Get this one out of here. I don't know if you can see all the fluid here on the outside of that cup. There's a little bit here, a little bit of seepage. Just going to try to push things out from one side. There's the cup, spring, and then push this cup back the other way. And that's that. Kind of need to clean this up so I can get a good shot and view in there, see what it looks like. We'll be back. Alright, well, I've got everything cleaned up and thoroughly inspected. All the cup seals look great. The only thing I can really notice on the pistons is it looks like after these were ground, they were all just thrown in a box or something, because there's little dings from rubbing on each other. This one, it's got a pretty hard ding or hit right there, but it's not on the surface. So the pistons look to be in good shape. Just a little ding there, but nothing proud. They don't bind in the bore, so everything's looking good there. I don't think this is going to show up on the camera, but there are no pits in there that I can see. The only thing that I really see, let's say the seals are going to be riding right back about in this area here, behind the pistons. It looks like there was something embedded in the hone. I can see a swirl scratch that runs all the way through it. It's not very deep, but it's not uniform with the rest. Aside from that, everything is looking pretty good, so I am going to try to clean it up with my hone here. I'll lubricate it and take a few passes in there, clean it up and inspect it, put it all back together and see where we're at. Alright, well, I've cleaned it up. It looks really good now. I don't think it's going to show up on the camera, but it's nice and uniform, so we're going to go ahead and go back together and see what happens. It's just pretty much a reverse of what we've done. Go ahead and start by getting these cups on. I'm going to turn them outwards like that. Or these end seals, rather. These aren't the cups. I've got a little brake fluid and the cap to lubricate things. So I'm going to start with just putting some down in the bore here. It's not going to take much to lubricate things. It has been thoroughly cleaned as well. Definitely want to get it cleaned. Just a tiny bit around here. Trying to do this pretty quick. Go ahead and stick a little around the lip here on the cup. Same with this one. There we go. And go ahead and start the cup in here. Make sure I'm putting them back where they came from. Yep. Once I get it in just enough, I'll use the piston to center it and push it in. There we go, leaving it sticking out a little proud for starters. It's got to go in further, or that cup won't go on there. That seal. Fingers are getting slick. There's one side. Drop in the spring. Same principle here, just going to start it in. My fingernail. There it goes. Jumped out on me. Have to get over that spring tension. Quit fighting me. There it goes. Alright. And that's it. We do not touch these. Now we go stick it back on and do an initial gravity bleed. Alright, well, I've got it installed. I'm just cracking my bleeder here to do a gravity bleed to get most of the air out of it. I'll do a final two-man bleed after. It'll take a minute to get the air out, but just another warning. The reason you get your shoes on and adjusted first is if you don't and they're too far away, you can actually blow these pistons out the end. So you definitely do an initial adjustment and then center the shoes and readjust. So this is going to take a minute. You always want to bleed up, if I didn't mention that. Make a loop in your line so the air bubbles can travel out. Instead of leaving it laying down, they can't get pushed out unless you're doing a power bleed. But I always make a loop anyway. Looks like it might be starting. Takes it a little bit of time. Here it comes, right here. I don't know if that's showing up on the camera. So far, I'm not seeing any bubbles that are being pushed out. It just got all the air out, evidently. So I'll let it reach the top up here, and I'll close it off. I'll put my shoes on and adjust them, and then move to the other side and do the same thing. So that looks good to me for now. There we go. Alright guys, well, I've got everything put back together. I've already checked the other side. It's not leaking now, so let's check this one. Bone dry. And the front one, come on baby. Bone dry. So it appears that the problem with these was just a poor honing job at the factory. Easy to do, but I shouldn't have to. I think from now on, with these parts that are coming out of China, especially these wheel cylinders, when I get them new, I'll tear them apart, inspect them, hone if need be, then put them on so I don't have to do my job twice, not to mention clean things twice because brake fluid starts getting all over my components. So, just a little information, something to look for. Thanks for watching, guys, and good luck.